Hey guys, Uncle Ray, welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. The goal of this channel has always been to get you in the group of people that actually make money in crypto. But unfortunately, over 90% of everyone lose money, and I think that's going to increase. Now, there's good news and bad news. I'm still bullish, and I believe you can still make life-changing gains. But this market, this cycle, and definitely this altcoin season, no matter how it plays out, will not be like any other altcoin season, in my opinion. Now, guys, in this video, we're going to talk about all the changes that makes this cycle different. And we're going to talk about how you can take advantage of this cycle and what's is here for the remainder of altcoin season, if we have one, which I do believe we're going to have an altcoin season, but I don't think it's going to look anything like people think. So I'm going to walk you through the big picture. I'm going to give you a lot of alpha. We're going to look at some charts, and I want to explain to you what's going on in this cycle. And guys, if you don't understand how the game has changed, how do you plan to be successful? Because this is not 2018 where you can just throw a dart and make literally life-changing gains. And in 2021, pretty much the same thing, but not as drastic. But guys, this is nothing like any of us expected. I know that it's that way for me. So anyway, hit the like button. Let's dive into what's going on and where we're at and my strategy to hopefully capitalize on what I still believe is the biggest opportunity in history. All right. Did I say hit that like button? Hit that like button. All right. Guys, you know, every time we get excited and things start to pump, it dumps, right? That's just been continual for 3.5 years. I don't think anyone will dispute that. Well, just that alone makes this cycle different. Now, I tell people all the time, you don't have to listen to me, but I highly recommend you listen to people I listen to. I want to be the dumbest guy in the room. But you know, one thing I see in crypto, guys, is just too much misinformation from people selling hype, FOMO, and, you know, fantasy, and giving you, telling you what you want to hear. Now, I want to let you hear something, and it's some good alpha, and it proves the point. And I highly recommend follow these 4 guys, or at least every Monday, guys, they get together and talk. It's some of the best alpha you'll ever get. It's Investor Answers and his friends. All right, check this out, guys.
Gold rotation to Bitcoin?
No, I don't think the bull run is over for gold. I think gold is going quite higher. I think it's central bank demand. It's not people. I don't think it's banks. I think banks are front running. The failure of the treasuries that back.
Bear with me. It's not about gold.
I think treasury market is in dire trouble. The U.S. Treasury market, all sovereign debt, and that's the move behind the curtains to move into gold. And I don't think that ends until there's a major catastrophe. So look out for gold to move higher, I think. But the good news is that typically after gold hits its euphoric stage and its blow off top is when Bitcoin tends to start its top, its euphoric stage. And we haven't had that yet. To me, we're just in that, last bear trap pretty much. And then we go into euphoria. And I think my expectations are still Q2, Q3, 2026 will be the euphoric stage. That's when the show will get extremely interesting on Mondays.
Exactly.
But yeah, gold continues to run. I think it's central bank demand. Banks.
Yep. And before we get on with the agenda too, some of the questions popping in here tie into closing out the discussion we just had. Toli and his percolator decks, is he trying to gain more control of the price of Solana by controlling the perp action? Is that one
It's
of
a
the
very
reasons why
very
price is
good
being
question.
compressed?
We're going to
Yeah.
talk
I
about
think it's a
that.
very good question. I think people are coming around to the notion and the thesis that the price of crypto has nothing to do with spot buying and selling. It has
Yep.
to do with people going long and short on these perp dexes. Remember, when people go long, the price goes up. When people go short, the price goes down. So the price of crypto is very much almost, I would say, 80% dominant on this incredibly huge ecosystem of perpetual dexes, trading roughly estimates $100 billion a day. People gambling. It's the biggest casino in the world with no regulation.
Every time I hit a bottleneck, I build a new
Hold on,
AI
guys.
employee
Hold
to
on.
crush it. I used to say that I had one AI employee working for
So
Yeah.
I think when you understand that as a founder, you probably is like, okay, well, how do we stop that? How do we mitigate that? And one way is to take back dominance from these actors that we don't really understand what their end game is, like Binance. Like, is Binance really about crypto? Do they believe in Bitcoin? Or they're just here to make $1 into more dollars? We don't know.
They just here to flash and rack people with Mintermute. I think
They're
that's
literally extracting retail liquidity every day. And where are they
Yeah.
putting it? In gold? In BNB? We don't know.
they're
We
building
can-
it.
Think about what he just said, guys. About 80% of all of the reason crypto moves is because of the perp dex, which I believe it's higher, and I'm going to talk about that. But he also said they're just extracting billions every single day. Guys, this is a blood sport. If someone pulls $1 billion out of an ecosystem, how many retail people just got wrecked, just like last week? Now check this out. This is the founder of Solana. He's building his own perp dex called the Percolator. Now, there's so much alpha here. Bear with me. First of all, perp trading is up like 15x. Everyone is trading. No one is stacking. No one. And all these people out there are telling you guys, hodl, know what you own, diamond hands. Guys, cryptos are not stocks. Most of this tech is going to move to Wall Street and to the banks. And you are being lied to every day to FOMO in, have diamond hands, so you can be the exit liquidity. That's one point. Now here's some more alpha. Just like this entire cycle, things get hot. Remember the AI agents? They all got hot, pumped up, crashed. Now they're making a move. We're going to talk about one. And guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing in 3 tokens I'm looking at. But now the AI agents are coming back, right? They just keep moving things around, rotating in, taking profits. But think about it, guys. If you put in $1 million and you make 30% in a day or a week, that's $300K. I got news for you, and I say this with love, and I know no one wants to hear it. The days of putting $1,000 in and going to altcoin season and making, $150, $250, $500,000 are way over. If you turn 1,000 into 5,000, you did amazing. I hate to say that, but you're going to have to change your expectations. And if you don't believe me, well, we'll all find out in the end. But guys, these influencers are just out to wreck you. They're not that knowledgeable, and they dang sure can't compete with the big boys on Wall Street who's been playing the game for years. They're insiders, and they have more money. But look what this says. Perps account for 90% of crypto market behavior. So think about it, right? Every time something starts to go, go up, and you FOMO in, and you wonder why it comes right back down. Because again, guys, we don't move the market. When we throw in our pocket change, no matter if it's 100K, it's pocket change. But when the big boys put in their money, it starts to matter. And when they pull it out, it dang sure matters. And when they add leverage, going long and short, it really matters. People are on this big kick talking about, oh, there's multipliers for these tokens. Yeah, multipliers up and down. So it doesn't take the money you think to pump a token or crash a token. But now, so the point I was wanting to make about that project is, okay, Hyperliquid came out and led this bull run. Made life-changing gains if people were smart enough to take the profits. Well, it makes an immense amount of money. Everyone has seen that. And now we went from 0 perp dexes, where you can go long or short, that's decentralized, to what, 12 or 15 and more on the way? Well, no matter what, guys, in the last cycles, that would have just been going into Hyperliquid. There would have been no other competition, right? One AI comes out, like Virtual, takes over, made life-changing gains for people, and then all of a sudden, there's 3,000 AI tokens. See, guys, this game has changed. But now I want you to think about something. Every time you don't want to take a profits, add some zeros, because you can bet the big boys are taking profits. That's why you're always going to have pullbacks and you're always going to have bounces. And that's why I love to short all the pumps, all the new all-time highs. You do the opposite. 90% are going to lose money. They're clueless. I say that with love. Smart money, dumb money. And if you learn to think and understand how the smart money thinks, guys, you can turn a small amount into a large amount. All right, but look at this, guys. This is just an example of what they're doing. They buy, stack, stack, stack. Take profits. Dump it. Stack, stack, stack. Take profits. Dump it. Stack, stack, buy. Oh, let's buy some more. Fake them out. Take it to the moon. Guys, these are massive moves. And short term, this is a daily chart. All right, let's take it down, right? Okay, let's buy it. Let's take it down. Let's buy it. Let's take it down. Okay, let's take it way up. All right, let's really dump it. Stack, stack, stack. Take it up. Dump it. Stack. I don't know how far it's going to go up. Maybe it goes to here. But it's coming back, guys. You've got to take profits or you're going to become the profits. That's the game. Guys, look, let me just briefly tell you my history. You know, I used to work on Wall Street with Bear Stearns, and I went from stocks into foreign currencies and coffee, sugar, cocoa, commodities. And then I got into penny stocks as an investor, not as a stockbroker. It was a straight up gamble and a game. No one bought a penny stock because they thought it was going to take over, you know, and compete with the power players of the world. They were all pump and dumps, just like altcoins. And I thought that most cryptos with utility and all that were going to change the world. They're not. The tech's going to change the world, but the tech is just software code and open source. So JP Morgan, Visa, MasterCard, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, you know, PayPal, all the power players got their own agendas, guys. They don't need the tech. At best, some of these utility projects, some might get their share, but you can bet they will not dominate Wall Street or the banks. Most altcoins are just basically pump and dumps, and some of the pumps may last longer than the others. They may last years and cycles, but 99% of these projects are going to go away. So you need to learn to short, in my opinion. We'll talk about that at the end. But look, guys, what they're trying to say is the perpetual futures are always going to move these things up and down. No one's stacking. See, in 2017-18, you just buy the spot. There wasn't even a place to go short unless you were very knowledgeable and very advanced. Same with 2021. But now you have the big boys of the world, not to insult him, competing against people that are insiders, highly educated, unbelievably connected, and have more methods to buy, sell, you know, straddle, go long and short, manipulate markets. It's unbelievable, guys. And it's just like this, you know, you have to learn to look at these charts. This right here changed my trading. I mean, and not many things have, because I've been around so long. Things don't change. It's just a different market. That doesn't matter if it's coffee, sugar, cocoa, foreign currencies, penny stocks, or whatever. Charts are charts. The game is the game. But this lets you see where the ball is with the market makers. And just like last Friday, guys, when the market makers and the exchanges are getting deep in the hole, it's time for them to take profits and shift the balance into them. Crypto projects are just like going to Vegas. The house will win. So if you get up and you're playing blackjack or whatever you play in Vegas and you start winning, get up and leave. Same with crypto. If you hodl, if you know what you own, you have no idea. And I say that with love. You own nothing. Very few of these altcoins are relevant, if any. Never sell your Bitcoin. But now look, I know I'm rambling, but let's talk about something. And this is a chart from that video. Guys, some people are calling for extended cycle. Some people are calling for massive altcoin season. And some people are saying it's over. Well, according to this chart, guys, if you believe in the 4-year cycle, it's over. But let's analyze where we're at. Just put it in context. This is the first cycle. Man, talk about easy life-changing gains. You get in early and you got a 25, 30x. It pulls back a little bit and takes off and gives you a 50, 100x. Right? Then it pulls back for a while and it takes off and gives you actually a chance to get out. In the 2018 cycle, man, it just basically went straight up. And then it went sideways and down and started to look like it's going to pump again. It was over. 2021, you had 2 big pumps and it was over, right? This one, guys, we haven't seen anything. But again, guys, the big money's here. We went from 15,000 tokens to 4 million. And now the sophisticated people here, and quite frankly, guys, once you understand the games, you can't even imagine hardly hodling, or I can't. Now I'm going to show you some tokens I'm looking to swing trade and tell you about my strategy because it's really important. But look at this, guys. I believe that we are going to have an altcoin season, and I'm going to tell you why. But I think it could just keep going slowly and slowly and lower until it's all over and goes back down and just goes up and down and sideways, and all these altcoins are going to die off. Now, why do I believe there's still going to be an altcoin season? Because the big money, the smart money, has made a killing. Guys, I personally know 20 people that have made life-changing gains in this cycle because they've been playing the game, been taking profits. They don't even think about hodling. Tell me someone that's hodling that's doing well. I don't know anyone, not a single soul. Now, I know some people that bought 14 years ago, and yeah, they can't really lose because they bought Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I don't know anyone that's hodling that's doing well. So, something else I want to talk about, okay? And again, guys, I'm going to talk about my new strategy and show you some tokens. In that same video, guys, they talked about how Wall Street's here. They have already taken over Bitcoin, pretty much Ethereum, somewhat Solana, and I personally like Tau, which we'll talk about because of the ETFs and the Treasury accounts. But what they said was, well, the reason ZCASH has been pumping is because there's a big movement, which I wasn't aware of, and I'm going to do a deep dive, that is like, look, we've lost Bitcoin. Everything that we thought Bitcoin stood for is not what we thought. The global elites, Wall Street, the banks are in the process of taking over Bitcoin, pretty much already have it on lock. So the retail players are starting to think, well, maybe ZCASH, the privacy token that is basically built like Bitcoin with its proof of work, maybe that is the retail token. So they are looking at maybe stacking ZCASH. And if you look at the chart, guys, that's a chart you want to buy. But, you know, when you look at, this is why I didn't dive into it. When you look at the price chart, historically, looks like a rug pull. Didn't make a new all-time high in its second or third bull run, and it probably isn't in this one, but it may run some more. So it might be something to talk about and to take a look at. Now, here's my game plan, guys, to make it simple, and we're going to talk about two other tokens. Well, wait, let's back up. I want to talk about the treasuries and the ETFs. Guys, the big boys, the hedge funds, the whales, the power players on Wall Street, they will still pump and dump the ETFs and the treasury accounts because they know they move the markets and they can just get retail, even their own customers, to take profits and buy it back and keep playing the game. So it's just human behavior to want to take the profits. Now, I believe Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana and Tau may keep going, right? Because it's going to be extremely positive long term. If I had to hodl, which I'm not going to do it, it would be one of those four. I'd never sell my Bitcoin. But Ethereum, Solana, and Tau have great tokenomics. You can't really get dumped on like you can with the other projects like XRP, HBAR, Doge, and ADA, which ADA has pretty good tokenomics, but I don't see it having demand. So they just play with it all they want. Now, here's my strategy. And I'm just going to play the game because here's what I've seen. Guys, the big boys, they take their money, they create FOMO, things start to pump, and they take profits and they rotate into another sector, into another hot token, and they repeat it. Then they create new pumps and delete new pumps, sectors that pump, and then they dilute them, right? They create a token just like the AIs, just like with Hyperliquid. They create them, they take their profits, and they create the competition, and they dilute it down. And then they move on, and they extract profits all the way along, all down, along the way, and then they repeat, guys. So why would I want y'all to think about just common sense. Forget your amount of money. Guys, if you had $10 million and you could say double that, say every 30 to 90 days, just taking handfuls, 30%, boom, I made $3 million in a day, a week. Then it pumps again. I grab another handful. I made another $3 million. And then I do it again. And then I repeat it over and over. Why would you park and put your $10 million at risk and try to get a 5X? Who cares? You're doubling your 10 million. Some of these guys are doubling 50 million. Some of these guys are using leverage on 10 million, trading it like it's 50 million or even 100 million. But guys, there's only a limit. It's a pie, whether you're looking at the entire pie of the ecosystem of all altcoins or the pie of the ecosystem of whatever token you own. When you get dumped on with bad tokenomics, guys, that's a piece of the pie you don't get to eat, period. And the pie basically disappears when this season's over, period. So when you're not grabbing handfuls, you're not taking out your initial investment, you're not taking profits, you're waiting for that Lambo, those life-changing gains, they're not coming, especially with older tokens, guys. You're being lied to. You're just being manipulated. And people tell you, oh, know what you hold. They're just trying to manipulate you so you'll sell and they can buy back. Guys, they don't want you to sell. Please don't sell. We want to dump on you. Your exit liquidity. If everybody thought like what I'm talking about, it would be opposite. 90% of people would make money and 10% would lose. But then there'd be no money to make. You need dumb people. Again, I say that with love. Dumb money, smart money. And the ruthless, smart people out there, the dishonest people, they could care less about telling you the truth like this video. They do not want you to remotely think about taking profits, period. Because they want to keep you in that night. They want to get it to 98% to 2% so they can make all the money. All right. So what I plan on doing, guys, is I'm never going to sell my Bitcoin, but as these altcoins start to pump, hopefully in the next month, month and a half, I'm going to get rid of pretty much all of them. I'm changing my game plan. And I'll talk more about that later, but I'm pretty sure, I was just taking profits along the way, but I'm really starting to wonder if retail's going to come back. Because I truly believe if you look back after the election when the Dino tokens pumped, I believe that was as much of retail as we're going to get. And they came back, and what happened? They got wrecked because they bought the same tokens that they thought were going to pump from the previous cycle. And 90% of all tokens don't hit a new all-time high. So they bought the highs of HBAR, XLM, Algorand, XRP, and they are getting wrecked. Why would they come back for more? And retail is watching, guys. I know I see it in my friends. When people first get into crypto, and bear with me, I know I'm ranting. I got 2 more tokens I want you to look at. You get so excited you want to share for the world. Well, everyone you've ever told to buy a token, whether it's XRP or Bitcoin or whatever, they're waiting for you to pull up in that Lambo. And then they'll go, okay. But think about it, guys. You got all this BS and hype and all these people out there, all these tribal people telling their grandmother and their grandfather for 8 years. And they probably have less money or barely the same money they had 8 years ago and in the last cycle 4 years ago. Why would retail come running in? And then they're smart enough to understand that Wall Street's here and they don't want to compete with none of that. So anyway, I'm going to sell my altcoins and then I'm going to stay in the game. I am going to do low leverage swing trades, and when they start to pump, I'm going to get out just like they're talking about on these perps. I'm going to play the game, and when any old token starts to pump or hit a new all-time high, I am going to short it just like I've been doing, and I expect it to get better and better as altcoin season totally ends and this cycle ends. Shorting is going to get better and better. So that's kind of my game plan, guys. Start taking my profits. Go ahead, put them in stable coins. Keep swing trading. Keep looking for shorts. And when that bear market comes, I'm going to be shorting constantly. But guys, some of the best times to swing trade or to short is in this bull run. Because when things pump, what happens? The big boys take their profits. Now, another way to make profits, if you understand shorting, is when things pump and you catch that short, guess what always has to happen? There's not a lot of guarantees in crypto, guys. But one of the guarantees is you're always going to have a bounce off a big move like on Friday. If nothing else, hear me out on this. How do I know that? Because if you get the move on Friday, the insiders, the big money, the people that made that happen, they went short on high leverage. Well, what happens when you are short? You have to buy back. So when they take their profits, you 100% are always going to have a pretty good spike off the bottom. So when you catch shorts, take those profits and get ready to go long. But don't ride it up much. Just take that handful that is given off the bottom that's constantly going to happen. And that's in the bull run. Because in the bear run, guys, yeah, it will bounce, but you might want to get short again because they're going to come back and it's going to keep going down. All right, now here's another token to take a look at. And here's some more alpha. Guys, no matter what you think, if you really would spend maybe a day, a full day, and just go, you know what? Is Uncle Ray right? Does he have a clue? I wonder what JP Morgan's doing, what Swift's doing, what Visa's doing. Do some non-biased research and you'll realize, oh my God, IBM has a ledger, etc. has a ledger. The biggest ledgers in the world no one even talks about. Hyperliquid fabric, right? No one even talks about it. JP Morgan has one of the baddest ledgers on the planet. It uses for the repo market. Everything is going to have instant settlement, guys. So do some research. Go see what those guys do, or you're just going to get wrecked. And what I'm talking about, this token right here is stable. STBL. And this is another project like Plasma. It's a layer 1 looking to dominate with USDT, exactly like Plasma. And the same people behind it, USDT, is behind this project. They want this thing to take over payments and use USDT. It's a heck of a project. Now, retail may not want anything to do with it, but it's going to grab market share and it is going to dominate whether the token pumps or not. And Circle has its new layer 1 coming out, guys, and it's making a lot of these older projects slow and obsolete. Circle's new layer 1 is faster, has faster settlement, it's free, has more liquidity, and they are getting rid of bridge tokens. So a lot of these old Dino tokens are literally becoming obsolete. And when you do your homework and you compare Circle to any payment token out there, you'll laugh thinking that Wall Street and the banks are not going to take over. They're not going to lose to, all the tokens that we are in love with. All right. I did a video about this token, COAI. AI is coming back because Binance wants them to pump. This thing has made life-changing gains for people. Guys, we shorted this thing probably 5 different times in our inner circle. And honestly, this right here was hard to catch. But overall, we did pretty well. But see, guys, that's the name of the game. Now, I believe you can step in here right here and buy it on low leverage and make some money. That's probably what I'm going to do because I believe the bottom's probably in short term, but I really want Friday all the reports coming out about the economy on Friday. So I'm not going to go in hard on anything until then. I want to see how the market reacts. But if we get positive news for interest rates and inflation and things like that on Friday, I think swing trading off this bottom will do extremely well. But again, guys, not looking to hodl. A swing trade to me is a couple of hours, which that's extreme. But, I look at maybe a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. I have swing trade a few tokens for over 9 months. It was XRP when you remember when the court case was going to end every single day. Well, it didn't end for 9 months, which I did catch it. But I truly believe the game is right in front of us. They're telling you, depending on who you believe, 80 to 90% of this market is being moved and dominated by traders. No one's stacking these shit tokens and thinking they're going to get a Lambo. They're just going to get their Lambo every single day. Grab a handful, repeat, grab a handful, repeat. Use leverage, repeat, right? Crypto is not the future. The technology is the future. You know, I don't like Jamie Dimon at all with JP Morgan. I don't trust him. But, you know, he said a thing that I'd never forget, and people laughed, and I didn't understand it. But he said, cryptos are a scam, but DLT technology and blockchain is the future. So what he was saying was, these things don't need a token. Most projects just have a token for speculation and to take money from people that are not sophisticated enough to really be doing this. And I say this with love. I'm not necessarily talking to you. But the tech is changing the world. Like that, flip that switch. Guys, the banks and SWIFT and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Visa and MasterCard and PayPal, they're flipping the switch with their tech. It's just software and code, guys. It's open source. Understand the game or you're going to get wrecked. That being said, I didn't mean to ramble on this. I'm really trying to work on it. I'm just not good at it. But guys, I truly believe that shorting is the way to go. And I have a shorting course that has 13 videos and comes with a Zoom call and 5 months of my inner circle where I post my alerts. And it's only $250. That's less than my inner circle for 5 months. So guys, if you want to learn to short, I highly recommend it. Reach out. Now, if you need some help with your portfolio and you don't understand how to take profits or market cap or tokenomics, and guys, don't let anyone lie to you about tokenomics. They are unsophisticated or flat out dishonest if they tell you tokenomics don't matter. Because if you don't understand tokenomics, you will be exit liquidity, because every token is guaranteed to crash that has bad tokenomics. They can still pump, but it's just a matter of when you get dumped on. Don't let anyone kid you. And guys, 18 videos of my coaching course. We go through your portfolio on a Zoom call, 5 months of my inner circle. So anyway, guys, reach out if you need some help or just join the inner circle. But either way, and I'll leave a link down below in the comments of my email and in the discussion section. But guys, whether you take me up on any of that or not, do some non-biased research. Stop listening to these people that got you to FOMO in and have told you 15 times that there's altcoin season. Do some research. If you think your favorite project is going to take over the world like ICP and XLM and XRP, go find out what Wall Street's doing. Go study the layer 1 arc by Circle and look, and you'll see what dominance is. Go study the relationship between JP Morgan, Linea, Consensus, and SWIFT. They ain't going nowhere, guys. Most people don't even remotely understand what SWIFT does and how connected. It's virtually impossible in my lifetime for SWIFT to lose their dominance. They have all the tech, and they got the big boys behind them, and they got all the customers. Don't get wrecked. Learn to short, learn to take profits, get a different game plan, and if you need some help, reach out. All right, didn't mean to ramble on, but hit the like button. Let me know what you think in the comments, and come back, guys, and be part of this community. Because, guys, I want you to be successful, and I'm going to do everything I can by telling you the truth to start with. All right, take care, guys.